Well, ladies and gentlemen, is your drum line ready, Joel?
Is your drum line ready? Drumline Battle 2014.
Dun, dun, dun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Crossmen Show, otherwise known as the Bones Hour. If you're going to chat with us, you can chat with us on Spreaker right there. You see the little chat thingy and come up and talk to us. And we're going to talk about DCI. We're going to talk about drumline battles because Joel's going to lose. And we're going to talk about, of course, the Crossmen. I tried to get the uniform, but they won't let me see it. So you know.
That's correct. It's coming soon. I promise.
And, of course, our DJ today is Rico. DJ Rico has got all the music.
Hi.
he's like, hi. Typical DJ, quiet kind of thing. But no, guys, welcome everybody to the show. We've been off for a couple weeks. I had an ear appointment to find out why I'm going deaf. And they said it was too much drumming to get ready for my drumline battle versus Joel. And then, but that was actually 16 years of working on a flight deck and an aircraft carrier. But we got a lot of things to discuss. A lot of things going on. So what's going on in the Crossmen world today?
Well, we're prepping up for our April camp, which is going to be a week from this weekend.
Dun, dun, dun.
So some pretty exciting stuff. We finally have our color guard back with us, so it's going to be great to kind of have a full core there and see what we have for the season. I mean, there's going to be some exciting news this coming up that weekend, and also this weekend that's coming up. So everybody should be looking out on the internet. There might be some Easter eggs on Easter somewhere hidden on a certain website.
What?
Maybe.
I'm finding them.
But no, we're really excited for this camp because we get to see the color guard again, and they've just been phenomenal in the off season. I mean, I think the last time they were here was the December camp or January camp, and they've just been on top of everything as far as for us logistically, but also performance wise. A lot of them have been doing the winter guard circuits and WGI stuff, and they've just been doing great. And just the retention rate that we're getting from that section is, I mean, probably one of the best that we've had in most recent years. I think it's at least half.
Yeah, we have a very high retention rate in the color guard. I think that's a testament to the foundation that John Leonard laid in the last couple of years, and then Tyler has continued that on this year, and he's done a great job of doing some awesome recruiting and getting more folks in the door. So I think we have a very, very solid color guard to complement the brass and percussion that have already been in work. And then also at the camp, we have all of our design team is in this weekend. You know, Andrew, our percussion ranger, and Chuck will be there. And we've got Mike Hardiak, our drill designer, who will be our special guest on next week's show.
That's right.
That's right, because we're going to we got the crowd going crazy on that one.
And then Ed Devlin, of course, our program coordinator, will be in, and our normal team of staff. And
this is our last camp before
this
spring
is
training.
Last camp about to say. Training. So this is going to basically get everybody together and then lay the foundation for the spring training.
This is almost like a pre-spring training because, I mean, it's going to come really fast.
Is this where everybody brings their flat screens in and literally lays them with y'all and leaves them with y'all so you can have them all set up when they move into spring training?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think there's any flat screens coming in. But so much going on. Obviously, folks had been contacting me about the uniforms. Mark, we know you've seen them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I haven't seen the uniform in person. But what can you tell us about them?
It's nice.
It's nice. That's it. Okay, moving on.
Well, we saw a couple of sample uniforms that came to us a few weeks back, around the last time we had a show with you. And so we saw a couple sample uniforms, and then those went to Ed. And Ed took a look at them, and he and the design team reviewed it, made a couple of slight changes, and our friends at Fred J. Miller went to work. And so they have begun the production part of that, and we expect to see, the finished product. Sometime in early June, we'll get all the uniforms, but we'll probably have a sneak peek coming your way pretty soon. So everybody keep your eyes out for that. We're excited.
Yeah, you're not being very nice to me right now. So Rico, I mean, obviously coming from years past and everything, and the new uniforms, how do you feel about the core? How do you think everybody's going to like those?
I think everybody's really going to like them. I know for the past it was like 9 or 10 years, we've kind of had the same uniform, just little variations in color or kind of design here and there, nothing too drastic. And I think it's a great change for what we're going to. I think it's a great change, but it's not a complete departure of the Crossmen. When you look at the uniform, you know it's a Crossmen uniform. You're not going to see this completely different uniform just with a cross in it. Like when you look at it, it's definitely a Crossmen uniform that's great and updated, and it's going to be great for the performers as well, and especially with what we've been doing, because when you realize this uniform's 10 years old, the drum corps activity has evolved so much in the past 10 years. And, a lot of corps and us, we're doing so many different things physically, and the physical demand is just a lot
different.
Yeah.
And what goes into the material of them? Obviously, the folks that see DCI, I know it's in the summer, a lot of heated shows. I'm not saying score-wise and everything, but I'm saying that they're really hot. Mm-hmm. What goes into the material of those uniforms to keep you all so cool?
Well, I think it's a much lighter material than it used to be. That's for sure. I remember being in the Suncoast Sound way back, and it was they got the Air Force cadet jackets from Colorado. So they were the double-breasted wool uniforms. We would wear those. But no, the uniforms are a much lighter material nowadays, and I think one of the features of the new one is it has a material a little bit. The pants material gives a little bit more, so that they can be a little bit more form-fitting, I think, to our members, because we want to be as sleek and as lean looking as possible, and so we don't want any frumpy looking uniforms. And so,
that's why
I think the material is just a polyester or a little some kind of blend. I think that allows it to breathe a little bit.
If people are worried if we're going to change it drastically as opposed to other corps who have kind of involved with the pants situation. I mean, I assume from when you look in the audience, it's going to look the same. It's going to be a nice color, but it's going to help our performers and us as well as far as keeping the uniform for a lot longer and keeping it updated. It's going to work out really well. Yeah,
because you have to use those so many times during the year. Sure. How many uniforms does each person in the corps get?
One.
That's it?
Yeah, just one. We order about 100 I think it's probably, there's 150 members, but you take out of that the color guard, the 36 color guard, so they wouldn't wear that. So it's about 114 members that will be in a uniform. We add pad on, the side of that, so we have several extras, but there's not a ton of extra in our assets, our uniform assets, so they got to take care of them, and, we have to be real careful with those, and, it was a great expense. We went through a very long uniform campaign, and we're able to get really close, or we're really close on that. I don't know what our exact number is right now, but we're real close, and so that's great, and that's not an easy expense. So we want to make sure that we take great care of those for the future.
Yeah, we like to thank everybody who's donated for that that drive as well.
There's been a great push these past couple of weeks, and I know we thanked them last time, but HEB, they donated like $2,500.
No, we got that text. We got that text on that show. Hey, make sure you get that. We're like, oh yeah, we're good. So obviously, big camp coming up here. We got the color guard back together and everything. Logistically, how is it? Obviously, the other corps in the DCI are going through the same thing. Logistically, how is it getting everybody from the airport to one place and getting everybody settled down to say, okay, look, we've got a job to do?
I don't think it's we've kind of been doing it for a while now, so we've got a pretty good system, and we're going to be at Tejeda Middle School for this camp, so that's not too far from the airport, so it makes it easy kind of to make some shuttle runs and get anybody that's flying in, get everybody converged into one place.
Right.
And we've had a great outreach of volunteers this season so far. So we've had a lot of folks come through, help with our shuttles, help with all the other volunteer aspects, and we're pretty proud of the folks that we've had and really thankful for their efforts. And so it makes it pretty easy. Warren and Mike and our team of folks that help shuttle people, it's no problem at all. We've got it kind of well taken care of, and then really we start things up. Registration starts at 6 on Friday, and then by 8 o'clock we're moving into our welcome meeting and rehearsal by 8:30. And then they're ours for the weekend, and then we send them back on Sunday, and then it's only, 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty fast.
And then we're in spring training, so it's becoming crunch time. It's we're moving with a sense of urgency and getting everything ready.
Yeah, because you're not only sitting there worrying about this camp, but like you said, 3 weeks after that, 3-4 weeks after that, here comes the big move in.
Yeah, and once it starts, then we're nonstop till August.
Yeah. And then we were talking about that earlier. Is like before you even get to the championships in August, you're already planning next season. So it's a never-ending cycle of things to do and stuff like that. Admin just doesn't sit on their hands during the off season, so to speak, because there really isn't an off season.
Oh yeah, definitely. This past week, from last time we had a show to this time, we've just been answering a lot of emails and phone calls from other corps who are helping us fulfill our housing needs as far as going to California and stuff like that. I know I mentioned Pacific Crest last time is really helping us out. I just got confirmation with them that they finally gave us a school name, because with a lot of touring stuff in the summer, I mean, it's difficult just to find a place. Sometimes school districts don't let organizations stay overnight, and then trying to cover the cost, and it's pretty difficult. And we're glad we have people like Jeff Cox from DCI and a lot of the other corps in California to help us out with all that stuff. So thanks if they're listening right now.
Oh, they're listening. Everybody in DCI is listening right now. So Drum Corps International, of course, is just growing. I mean, a lot of corps have folded, but those individuals that are still age eligible to march have gone on to other corps, obviously, like the Crossmen. What does it say about the growth? Because it's getting bigger and bigger. Obviously, with Drumline Battle coming on last year and the other initiatives, it looks like DCI is getting bigger and larger.
Well, at our annual meeting, we were reported, a lot of the facts and figures for 2013. And, I think we used to always measure the growth or the success of the activity based on ticket sales.
Right.
How many butts were in a seat
for
an event. But with the way things have changed with the technology and everything, we really try to measure it in terms of eyes on an event. So what happens now is, so yes, you have the tickets of the people that are coming to various events, all the sanctioned events, over 100 and something sanctioned events for the summer, but then you're also looking at people that are coming to the movie theaters during championships week. You're looking at the people that are buying a fan network subscription and watching it online. So you start to add all those up, and DCI had one of its most successful years last year. With a very, very high percentage of folks that are kind of seeing it in both ways. And so we're trying to reach out, and I think DCI is maximizing on that, and we've been able to utilize the new initiatives through Sound Sport and Drumline Battle coming up, that have allowed some more people to participate. So I think you've got both sides of it. You have the fan participation, and the audience are having opportunities that they haven't always had, and you've got more member participation. So yes, I would say that over the last 20 years, the number of drum corps has shrunk significantly, but what we're seeing is new ones starting to crop up that are going through a much more intense process of becoming a drum corps. Yeah. Our friends right up the road at the Guardians, they were, a sound sport team last year, and now they're moving into open class status. So there's now a much more methodical step-by-step process instead of just saying, "Hey, good luck, hope it works for you." So
yeah, it's great to see the growth. I mean, when I was in high school, there wasn't a drum corps in Texas. There might have been one in the Dallas area that was an open class that toured every once in a while. But other than that, there wasn't anything. And now we have, I don't know. There's us, Genesis. Genesis, Guardians,
yeah.
And there's other small. We're seeing attempts at small sound sport teams trying to pop up in the Dallas area and other areas. And I think that's great for the activity, especially here in Texas. I mean, we need drum corps here in Texas.
Yeah, because obviously... and we've talked about this many, many, many times, folks. I mean, obviously, with Drum Corps International, in bands, let's say high school bands or wherever, you get the highest grade scores are from the musicians, from the artists, from the folks that are in that realm, because you have to be smart to be in a band. And when my son tried out the other day about Tejeda, he tried out for Tejeda band the other day for percussion, and they're like, "Yeah, don't you want to play trombone?" And he looked at me, he goes, "Does Crossman play trombone?" And I go, "Well, they do now." He's like, "Okay." So he's like, "I'll try it," because of 150 kids who are trying out for percussion, only 8 were going to make it. And I was like, "Hey, if you're not one of the 8, have something else." So, of course, he was asking, what about trombone? So let's go ahead and get into that. With trombone coming online, I mean, obviously, a lot of folks, the uproar and all that stuff that was going on, oh, it's taking away the traditions, blah, blah, blah. However, I think it's the growth of DCI with the inclusion of trombone playing.
It's an evolution, and I think you have to look at it from its early roots and military base with the bugles and the drums, and then the front ensemble stuff has been added. We've seen electronics. The bugles have changed to brass instruments. I think it's an evolution, and it kind of is what it is right now, and that's the best way to describe it. And there are pros and cons, I think, that anyone could demonstrate and come up with. But I think you're right. I think if you can add trombones and you can open up some of the instrumentation to folks that you would hope that if they play trombone, they would be able to also play baritone.
Right.
But it does provide some other things. We're not intending to use a trombone at Crossmen this summer. But that doesn't mean the possibility isn't there. So
Right,
it's
because
really
you were a flute player,
Yeah,
and then you went to
flute.
clarinet, and then you finally came to chimes
Yes.
and triangle. So
Right.
there's always hope. There's always hope. So, folks, we're going to take a quick break. DJ Rico is going to be playing some incredible Crossmen, and we'll be right back. Mike's all high, by the way. That was
That was Count Bubba. I think
That
was the
was,
name of the tune. Count Bubba.
Yeah.
By the Gordon Goodwin and the Big Fat Band.
I was
Big Fat Band, or Big Fat.
I just
with a
said
PH.
darn on there. Man, that's music.
Yeah.
Of course, the challenge is to everybody is try to go 24 hours without listening to music anywhere.
That's impossible.
Car, house, movie. You can't. There's music. Music is life. And drums are the heartbeat, by the way. So that you know.
Mentioned.
Yeah,
How's
'cause-
how's your drum line?
How's your
coming
drum
together?
line ready?
Yeah, it's
Because
ready.
we're talking about drum line battles, and it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. Let you
Okay.
know. Because I'm ready to go.
That's fine.
I've got my 5-year-old. She's ready. She's taking drum lessons over at Sam Ash.
She's in.
She's in. She's qualified. She's trying to do a drum roll. So yeah, just let you know. But the drum line, we were watching it last night on TV, and of course my son's like, "Oh, Dad, drum line," and I was like, "Sweetheart, pretty much a lot of that is not how it really happens."
It's about the moral of the story. How about that?
But if she does want to form a drumline, I would love to see a younger kid drumline battle. That'd be great.
Yes.
A younger kid drumline battle. That might be what I have on my drumline, by the way. But now I got some folks. How's yours forming up? Rico's not allowed. Any former Crossmen are not allowed.
Full. I already have 36 people.
He's gonna have the horn.
If you want to back out now, Mark.
I'm
you
not
can.
back. I ain't scared.
Okay.
I ain't scared. You have Chris Lyman on there. I understand.
No, it's fine. I got it. You watch.
I'm not talking to him no more.
I really don't know. I mean, he could be planning.
But, of course, we're talking about MMX, folks, is where the drumline battle for the Crossmen are going to occur. It's a Friday night. Come on out. The tickets are on sale. Go to crossmen.org. Of course,
Marching Music Extravaganza.
There you go.
MMX.
Tickets are on sale at crossmen.org. You, of course, follow Crossmen on Twitter at Crossmen. The MMX on June 13th is going to be a great night. Last year it rained on us a little bit. We still did a performance. We had the drumline battles. The DCI was there. Had the folks from DCI do the commercial for the drumline battles, which was the Crossmen versus Genesis, which was pretty cool in the rain. Great shots, by the way. The rain coming off the snares and all that fun stuff. But this year is going to be great. And obviously on the next day we've got the 1 mile, the second annual Crossmen 1 mile, where if you entered a Crossmen 1 mile right now for $20, you can't beat it so if someone goes, oh, yeah, $20 for a mile, but here's what you get. You get a T-shirt. Well, that's $20 right there by itself. You get incredible. Everybody's going to finish and get some food. That's at least $10. That's $30 in value. And if you win, you're going to get a medal, which is another $10. So you're getting, did I mention? You get entry into the MMX on Friday night, which is a $10 value. So you're at least getting $50 in your value of entering for the 1 mile. And, of course, if you run under a 4:30 for a man, the first man under 4:30 gets $200 cash. First lady under 5 minutes gets $200 cash. First Crossman, active or alum or volunteer, 151. You have to be in 151, though. If you're the first one of a Crossman, you get $100 male, and that goes on for the $100 female as well for the 1 mile. And it starts on the track, finishes on the track, and it's pretty flat. I know you guys didn't run it last year because you were working.
Yeah, I was in Florida. I had a class to finish.
But, of course, Gavin James, snare drummer for the Crossmen, last year won it in 5:48. But we weren't offering money. We were offering ribbons and some bagel factory bagels last year. And this is a great event. It's a great weekend. We call it the Crossmen Weekend because we have MMX on Friday night, again, June 13th. We have the second annual 1 mile on that morning before the Crossmen head out on the road. And then on Sunday, it's going to be incredible.
Showcase in the Square up in Dallas, South Lake to be exact.
Yep.
Showcase in the Square, and again, a lot of the same kind of groups that are playing for our MMX event. And we're going to do a great event up there. That's been a good event for us for the last couple of years, and the Shocks and our Lymans and our team of people up there have done a great job of coordinating that. So we're looking forward to that, and I think that's going to be really great too. So
we're going to have Genesis at hopefully both of those events too.
Yep.
They'll be here at MMX and in Dallas as well.
Yeah, Genesis has committed to performing for both of those at this point. So
yeah, Genesis is amazing. Cool. Obviously, they were at the drumline battle last year at the MMX versus the Guardians, and then it's one of those things. The Guardians doing a great job. Obviously, like you said, going to open class. With Jonathan leading them the way. The Genesis came from a different background, basically showing kids that they can do more with themselves, staying off the streets, getting involved with drumline, and obviously getting along with band. And they're a little bit.
They have an indoor group that just performed up at WGI. I think if I remember correctly, they won their class for the Texas Color Guard circuit. Teatro is the name of the group, and it's an offshoot of Genesis. So they had a really great season, and they went up to Dayton. I'm not sure exactly how the results went for that, but really, really great. Chris and the team at Genesis are doing a great job as well. So got a lot of great groups in a really close proximity. But
yeah, how cool is it? I mean, obviously you guys have been with it for a while, with DCI for a while, but how cool is it to see these new organizations forming and saying, hey, we want to be a part of this?
Well, I think it's great for the activity as a whole. We want more groups. We want to continue to expand that. We're always a little protective of our territory, I think, in Texas. But they're great folks, and they're working hard to make something special in those areas, and we commend them for their work, and certainly for the growth of DCI. That's a great thing. So
yeah, we're talking about the drumline battle, and obviously the growth of how that's working and everything. Me being a snare drummer, like I said, we were watching drumline last night with my son, and he was interested in the cymbal players because the cymbals they were twirling them and everything like that. And he goes, "Wow, those got to be pretty cool." And I go, "Those things are not light."
No.
And I was like, "You need to ask Rico." So when he comes home from school here in a little bit, he's probably going to ask you about it because they're twirling them, and obviously like the color guard, those things are hard. They're not. You have to be an athlete in order to perform with cymbals, color guard, obviously the instruments in DCI.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, they're musician athletes, and
Yep.
we do a lot of physical training. Rico and I got back to the gym yesterday. Yeah, we did. Rico's been going there a little longer than me. But we figured if the Crossmen kiddos can do it, we can too. So we're trying to get ourselves in shape, and we promote a lot of health and wellness, through our organization by default, I think, almost, because they have to be in.
Yeah, that's leadership down, because Fred's on the treadmill or on the steps or walking around the Crossman property. Sure. It's heads down, because you have to be in shape in order to do what happens during the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to see the kids motivating each other on Facebook. One section will ask another section, I was like, did you guys work out today? Did you guys work out today? And just kind of keep pushing each other until we get to move-ins and stuff like that. So it's great that they're preparing themselves not only musically and mentally, but also physically, because that's going to help a lot for the season. Yeah,
how important? That's a great lead-in. How important is it to be physically fit in order to make it all the way to August?
It's very important. It's just like any other sport. I mean, I'm only going to say this because I'm a huge Spurs fan, but Spurs, San Antonio Spurs, the city we're living in right now.
Playoffs start at noon on Sunday for the Spurs, by the way.
But I just think about them because they don't care if, say, they're playing a really big team and someone's maybe injured. They'll make sure that person gets the rest they need for the next game and make sure they're consistent. And that's what we want to kind of the same message we send to our kids, that if you need to rest, you need to take care of your body first, and then you can join us and we can climb the ranks if we need to, or perform the heck out of this show and that show. But we need to make sure you take care of yourself first and take care of your bodies and take care of everything before we're able to together push forward. And I think our visual team is doing a great job. They have a great kind of mindset, and they've been challenging our kids. They'll post little tips here and there on their visual Facebook page and saying, oh, you guys need to give them a challenge and be like, oh, how about you guys run so many miles this month, and then the next one will be another challenge. And it's great. I think this couple of weeks ago they had a kind of like a photo contest, see who had the best workout photo, and I think the one that won was a cymbal player and a snare drummer.
Of course, percussion.
Yes, in their Crossman apparel. They had to be wearing Crossman
apparel. That's what it is. Had to be
wearing Crossman
apparel.
Good pose, working out. It was cool. So
they're benching like 450.
Just fun ways of trying to get everybody motivated, because you're right. I think in drum corps we're all pretty much doing a lot of the same things, but we're always looking for any advantage we can. So it's all about.
When I marched, it was just like, make sure you guys start running, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. But this year they're just very detailed about what they do and giving specific instructions, because giving them specific instructions and telling them why it's going to help them in the summer. Like, you should do this because it's going to help you with marching, or it's going to help you with playing, or being able to breathe more. And I think I'm just surprised, or I'm really thankful that they're doing all that this summer. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, because back in, obviously it's come a different route, I will say, a different way, because back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even when you were in 2000, the physical fitness aspect of marching DCI is a lot harder, I will think.
The demands are, while I will say that there's been improvements in the visual design and the music design, and there are the instrumental changes of those kinds of things, I think one of the biggest changes is the physical demand on the students, and it's only continued to move upwards in what we're asking them to do. So Fred says it all the time, they're musician athletes, and I think that's characterizes them really well. That's what it is.
Yeah, because when Fred and I did our very first show, when I was with 93.7 here in San Antonio, and I asked him, what would your recommendation be for someone who's listening in that wants to be a part of it, that has never even thought about trying out? And he said, practice, but also start running, get in shape. Because it is a lot. There's their YouTube video of the young man had a heart rate monitor on. His heart rate went up to 170 for those 11 minutes. Came back down, and as soon as he walked on the field, obviously went up. As soon as he stepped off the field, it went right back down, because it's a lot of exertion.
It is, and they've done the health studies, and they've showed those a couple of times, and those kids are putting up numbers that you would expect to see from a marathon runner in the middle of a marathon. So it's no joke, that's for sure.
Does the admin staff? Do you guys ever get that during the performance when you're standing on the sidelines?
Oh, yeah. Going up and down the stairs of the RV is very difficult sometimes. So
those 3 steps are so hard.
Exactly.
We do feel that adrenaline rush. We just have to keep on working and maybe don't get aren't able to get as physical as some of the kids do because we got to, take care of things
24/7.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, do you ever wish that you were still back out there?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed that we're proud of what the Crossmen are putting out there and what the kids are doing. But yeah, there's sometimes I'm like, man, I sure would like to strap on a drum and run out there and learn the drill. And
I want to go through the tunnel. I want to go through the tunnel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be one of the most exhilarating things is that be in the tunnel and seeing everybody looking down the tunnel at you going, oh, the Crossmen are here.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the first time we came here to San Antonio when we moved to Texas, 2007, the percussion was in the back of the corps, so I think whoever was in the front, maybe a color guard or the brass, I think the first person could be seen just barely through like the shadow, but once that first person was seen, even while the other corps was performing, I don't know who was performing before us, you could just hear the top level of like our block just erupt, and they were just kind of screaming for us the whole time, and it was like that all the way until we started the show, and it was just great. Just that adrenaline rush you get right before the show while you're in the tunnel it's like one of the biggest hypes. It's pretty great, especially here or when we go back to Allentown when we're kind of waiting in that tunnel area or the gated area there, and people kind of start seeing us climb that little hill. It's pretty good. Those are some of the best feelings as a marching member, and even just as a staff when you're going up the hill in Allentown and you get to see the top of the stands and you keep seeing more and more people as you keep getting on top of the hill and just seeing the crowd kind of erupt while you get on. It's pretty great.
I tell you what, I get giddy when I wear my Crossman shirt, my polo, or obviously the logoed shirt as we call it, because I'll be somewhere and someone like, oh, Crossman. I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? That kind of thing. Like someone had asked one time, who's the Crossman guy at the Roosevelt football games taking pictures of the drum line? Oh, that was me, because the drum line's good, but it's one of those things like you want that recognition for the local schools, because a lot of folks, which I found out at Alma Heights High School, there was only one kid out of the whole band that knew what DCI was. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So obviously Reagan knows there's a lot of cross members of Reagan, Johnson, Tejada Middle School, the drum instructor for the 6th grade beginners, former Crossman drum tech. So, I mean, it's pretty cool to see how DCI and obviously Crossman are so involved here in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I think this past month, actually, we've been noticed while we're kind of doing just normal stuff. We're shopping around, and people have kind of pointed out, it's like, oh, you guys march Crossman, or you guys know what the Crossman was? And 2007 or 2008, nobody would have said anything, but now there's a lot of people who kind of recognize what we're wearing and ask us questions, and it was like, oh, yeah, we do work for the Crossmen, and they're just kind of blown away. And what's great is some of them know of the Crossmen because maybe some of the first members we had when we moved here, they went on to be band directors, and they taught those kids that kind of noticed us. So it's kind of great to see the impact not only just in drum corps, but in the public schools as well. I think the other day, all the three of us went shopping somewhere. It was me, Joel, and Chelsea. Went into a Target or something real quick, and one of the cashiers was like, oh, you guys are wearing Crossman stuff? Because we all just happen to be wearing shirts.
Right, of course. That's awesome.
She's like, you guys march with the Crossmen, or how do you know them, or you just like them? I was like, no, we work for them. And she was just blown away.
No, we work for them. Thank you.
Well, Fred and I were just talking yesterday, actually, about the presence of Crossmen in San Antonio is starting to become much more recognizable. And, it's taken time, and it takes time, when you're we're here in San Antonio, but people know we're here, and, Crossmen are here to stay. So I think that's a testament to just getting the word out and the history and legacy of the organization, but it's been successful, here in San Antonio, and we're just continuing to grow and build. And we've tried to dip our hand in some more of the community initiatives that have, popped up, SA 2020 stuff, and
huge,
any of that we can be recognized at, performing at the Rangers game, and being at, Big League Weekend to know here's a Crossman from San Antonio, Texas. Here they are.
And people are like, San Antonio?
Yeah,
what?
Exactly. Some people still think we're from Pennsylvania. So there you go.
Which is a big year because it's our 40th year.
Exactly.
It's one of those things like people are like, 40 years? Well, I haven't heard of you in San Antonio. Like you said, it's starting to get growing bigger, and we're going to take a quick break. Gary obviously listens to us over from our friend or Texarkana, big in the band over there. Gary, I'm going to have to pick your brain about being a band dad because, like I said, my son's going to be going in 6th grade next year.
Or he'll need your help putting a drumline battle together.
Oh, here we go. We're going to be right back, folks. The Crossmen Show. mics are on now.
Mic check.
That was incredible. What were we listening to, DJ Rico?
That was the 1990 Crossmen right there.
90. Yep. I love it. What were you doing in 1990? Don't tell me you were in the third grade or something.
No, I wasn't even in the third grade.
I was like 12.
I was like about 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old.
Stationed in Beeville, Texas, I think.
Oh, okay.
Fishing. So Gary is the newly re-elected band booster. I like it.
Awesome.
How hard is it being a band parent? Obviously, the Crossmen have volunteers, and a lot of them are parents of the core members. How important is it to have those folks? What's that?
I mean, we're lucky to have some that aren't even parents to core members. They just show up and love the activity and help us out a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think being a band booster is a difficult thing. A band parent, and where they differentiate between band, high school band and drum corps is at the drum corps level. Some of the things that may be taken care of by a band booster organization, we do in the administrative team, and then that's supplemented with all of our volunteers and the folks that are part of that. So, but having been a high school band director for a number of years, you rely very much on very supportive booster organizations to play a supportive role, and I think that's the biggest thing is not a dictating role, but being supportive of the band director and their needs for the organization, because they're the music educator, and but presumably they have a degree in music education, and they're the expert.
Presumably.
So you want to be as supportive as you can, but kudos to Gary for being reelected, because that's not an easy thing. There's a lot of personalities that come through that. So,
the parents get more stressed than the kids do. I mean, I've been to a lot of high school football games. I used to announce them, and you see the parents obviously putting the plumes on the hat or getting the waters ready, taking care of the band members and stuff, or moving the instruments out for the pit. And the faces, you can just see they're stressed because they know the performance is where it's at, obviously, So hats off to all those folks that do all that week in, week out. They're not even looking for thank yous or pat on the backs, but because they just love it. Like you said,
we're so grateful for the people that show up. When I was in high school, I came from a small enough program, but I think one of my last years, or even a couple of years after I graduated, we didn't have a band booster program because nobody just would help. Like nobody would help out, so they kind of disbanded and eventually came back together. But to go from that to something like this, would parents or other people just kind of show up that are in the area and want to help out because they like the activity and like what we're doing, is it's mind-blowing that these people just come out and just dedicate their time and build stuff and make food and sew uniforms together. And
I was about to say, stay
awesome.
up all night sewing things together and make sure
I've definitely
things
gone
work.
On tour. I've definitely gone on midnight uniform washing runs with some of the volunteers and our drivers. Like, all right, there's a laundromat over there. Let's get going.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that real quick because obviously, like you said, you get one uniform. There's not like a stable of uniforms. Everybody gets 5 or 10 or one per show, by the way. But it's one of those things like the laundry has to get done. So logistically, that's got to be so much fun of going to the next show and you still have 3 or 4 cords going to the same show with you and you taking over a laundromat before they do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have to work it into the schedule and figure out in the days that we have that are free, because, we typically try to do that during rehearsal day because there's not always enough time. There's not enough time on a show day to get up, wash the uniforms, get them all back on a hanger, hung away, ready to go for that afternoon. So, and you don't want to detract from anything that's going on in rehearsal or any of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of prep and logistics that go into that, and just finding a place to do it sometimes it might even be the most difficult.
I think we did run into one of those situations this past year, and we have in the past, where we go to a laundromat and there's already another corps there, and then we mentioned, we're gonna go to this one instead. I was like, we're already over there too. But I know we usually get it done. The rest of the support staff does a great job, and especially since we're on the support staff side of it, we did hire a couple of other people, and it's going to be a great year as far as admin and support staff goes, and we're going to make sure things are taken care of. Aside from the laundry stuff, I know I've gone into like a Sam's or a Walmart and, we need bread or we need Gatorade, and they're just wiped out because another corps just got there 20 minutes before we did.
The regiment just came through. Like, oh, man.
We look pretty funny when we go to Walmart. Yeah. And we always get the looks, the sneers from people like, what are you having a party? Yes.
Yes, that is the
80 loaves of bread and 20 gallons of milk.
That's the line I probably hear the most.
A barn burner.
All right, so here's the question. How long does that 80 loaves of bread last?
It just depends what the meal is. Usually it's just for peanut butter and jelly, which is like kind of a side item.
Right.
But if you're having any sort of sandwich that week, it's not going to last very long.
3 days, 3-4 days most. Yeah.
That's crazy. All right,
we probably do all that shopping 3 or 4 days.
So Gary was talking about, just like you said, some show up and go above and beyond. It's like pulling teeth to get some to participate. What parents and students have to understand is that what we do is, as boosters, because we love the kids and the program, just like you were mentioning. We don't work concessions and travel and chaperone because it's truly enjoyable thing. We support and want the best for our band and our students. Ultimately, last year, we were able to increase both the number and amount of scholarships for graduating seniors from our band program because of our parents' efforts. And Gary goes on to say, oh, by the way, he's bus driver, photographer, and videographer, too.
Oh, wow.
So, Gary, when your child graduates, Gary, are you moving on to the college as well and starting doing the stuff there? Because, I mean, obviously, Gary's got a great program running over there in Texarkana. And the Crossmen have the 151s, which people are going, what's the 151? So explain, what is that?
Well, it's something that I think Joel and Joe, who was with us previously, kind of started. It's kind of like the 6th man in basketball or the 12th man in football. We have 150 members on the field. And 151st is, the support group, which is our volunteers or anybody that comes out and drives or does anything for us. And it's great to have them as labeled as a 151 as opposed to just a volunteer, because they are a part of the team. They are a part of the family, and they're just right by us. They're working while we're working on the field, or while the kids are working on the field, or we're working on the logistics. And they're just as they're integral part of the team, just as the same as a kid on the field or somebody ordering music or ordering instruments, and it's great to have them with us out every time.
Yeah, because in the Blue Angels, we used to say the pilots, and obviously the air show was the show, the pilots were the show, but all the ground maintenance folks and the support crew behind the scenes kind of thing made sure the show went on. Yeah. And that's the 151s, I feel, is those are the folks that are so integral in this. Obviously, like Petey and the food truck and all that if it wasn't there, it would really hinder on how things run.
Yeah, and this year we're lucky to have a gentleman by the name of Marvin Irby. I think it's his 2nd year here. And he was very generous enough to donate some money to open up a scholarship for the 151s. And so we're grateful that he started that. He was able to give a member that's part of the Corps, who's been for the Corps maybe 3 or 4 years already, a scholarship for their tuition. And I can only see that getting bigger and bigger. So if anybody wants to come volunteer with us, each year and contribute to that, that's great, because the person who got the award helps a lot with the volunteers and is always there when the Corps needs them. I think Marvin chose that person because whenever the volunteers needed help, that member was always there, right there. Didn't even ask questions or anything. He was just right there, helped pick up the pieces when we packed up the food truck and stuff like that. So we're just great that Marvin is a part of our team and able to do that. And he doesn't have a member in the Corps either. He just comes out every time we have a camp, and he tries to come out in the summer, but he has kind of no affiliation with the Corps right now. He just comes and helps out.
His son came and auditioned last year and made the Corps, and I think there was an injury. I think he was struggling through an injury, and he was unable to complete the season, but Marvin continued to hang in there and would, drove for us during the summer, drove, I think, a week on the RV and just is around, and he's a great guy. But he's just one example of all the folks that we have like that. I think Warren immediately come to mind of Warren, who drives the van for us, and he has no affiliation with the Corps.
He's also our radio engineer.
Yeah, and we've got he had a radio show for a while as a radio broadcaster.
Yeah, he helps us.
Oh yeah.
You know Warren.
Yeah.
And, there's Scott Reeves. He has no affiliation with the Corps, and he comes and takes care of all the uniforms. So
wow.
and there are countless numbers of these folks as well, and so we can never say thanks enough. So, but they're definitely an integral part of the team for sure.
So when folks are listening and everything and like that, and they're going, "Oh yeah, I watch DCI on YouTube," or "I've seen that," and they see like the drum lines warming up, or they see the horn lines warming up, or everything. They're only getting a glimpse. What is something that? And let's go horn lines first. What is something that they don't see on YouTube or whatever about how the horn lines function?
I think you see, well, anybody sees, and it doesn't matter whether it's drum line or the horn line, you see the end product. Essentially, you're seeing the weeks and the months of work that have gone into that. So I mean, you could look at any of those things, to be able to play this passage flawlessly and to move at this speed. I mean, to know the number of repetitions that they did on that during that day, to me, is what's always amazing. Because again, you see the polished product. You're a fan, you're a DCI spectator, and you buy your ticket and you come to World. You're seeing the product, and that's what we want them to see. That's what we want our fan bases to see. But I guess what's always amazing to me is I don't think there's a perspective, because why would you have that perspective or scope of what it takes to make that happen? And so I horn line, drum line, front ensemble, color guard, it's amazing what they go through in their preparation just to be able to ultimately perform this thing, what you see on YouTube or at an event.
Right, because the folks are sitting there going, oh man, they're warming up, and they're sitting there going, man, that sounds so good, but they're not here in January or February, December going, oh, that stick hit was wrong, or that note was wrong.
It's a learning process. They're not part of the process. They see the product, but all of it is an act. Ultimately, at the end of it, it's a show. Even the warm-up part of it, when they're in the lot, those are choreographed with a very specific routine to do these things on these days, and that's it. So, I think that would be my biggest takeaway from it. It's always surprising to me what it takes to get to what they see.
And Enrico, the question to you is, if there's someone sitting on the bubble going, I'm a junior in high school or a sophomore in high school, and I'm thinking about going DCI, and they don't know what side of the fence to go on, what would you recommend to them?
You just need to come out. I always tell people there's no sense in just kind of sitting by the pool or just kind of sticking your toe, and you just need to jump in at the deep end and just kind of swim, because that's the only way you're going to do it. Because if not, you're always just going to wonder, I wonder if I could have done this or that. And if those people are listening in and they're in the area on the 13th, when we have the MMX, we have an experience day so people can come, sign up, and kind of learn and perform side by side with the Crossmen. At the end of the night at MMX, they perform certain tunes that we have. And if they're not in the area, if they're just kind of somewhere where we're going on tour, just to come out to rehearsal, just by watching, you just learn a whole lot. I know every time we go to a school, band programs always ask us, I was like, can our kids watch? And I was asked, do you want us to put on a clinic? Do you want us to do this and that? I was like, no, we just want to watch you guys do what you do. and you just learn a lot just from that. So if anybody's curious or interested, just come out to a show or a rehearsal, or if you're in the area next week on Sunday, just come out to Hayden Middle School and just watch us, and sign up for our experience day on the 13th, or sign up for next year for our experience days in November and December, because that's what they are, experience days, to get grasp of what it is to be a Crossman, what it is to march drum corps.
And that's one of those things, like a friend of ours, her son is a snare drummer. He tried out December, got the call back for January, and then I don't think he made it after that. But he was going, I was talking to him, he goes, man, that was so cool. He goes, now I know what I need to work on, what I messed up on, and just build from there. And then next year going, hey, I know this is not a joke. It's not a fun time around. I'm ready to go. So,
yeah, especially if they're in that high school age, that's such a big motivation, big learning step for them. Because I didn't start drum corps until I was already in college, and so when I went to that first audition camp, I had already been marching with people and learning from people that had marched drum corps.
Right.
But from the high school end of it, at least from my perspective, from a high school end of it, you just learn so much, and you can take back to your band program or your organization and just kind of share that information with them as well. And so the more the merrier.
I'd asked Fred this, and I think I asked Joe this one time, was how hard is it, do you feel a Crossman high school band member to go back to their high school band at the end of the year, at the end of the season, and go, I've been with DCI all summer, and I'm not disrespecting the high school bands or anything like that, but some of them that I feel maybe a step back, but there's so many high school bands that are DCI qualified in marching is what I'm saying.
Well, the key is that they need to go back and be great leaders in their program and start setting an example and be mentors to younger folks. And generally the folks that would come and march with us are going to end up going back and either being a junior or a senior. They tend to be the older kids in the band already. So this is a great chance for them. And we encourage them to utilize their leadership skills and their education that they have, garnered from the whole summer to be better and, raise the quality of their band program by setting good examples, by being good leaders. And that doesn't mean coming back in and being a show off and, being
I'm
smart
DCI,
out. I
yeah.
was in DCI and I'm so great. That's not the approach that we want our kids at all to take. So we really encourage them to come back and be strong. But yeah, I would say for some of them it is a difficult adjustment. And it's got to take the right kind of student to do that. But from us, it's always about go back and be the example.
Yeah, because they miss a lot too. Because they're missing summer camps for the high school bands. They're missing, obviously, football starts August around here in San Antonio or in Texas, and a lot of them are missing those important days. So when they come in from DCI, they're going, okay, I can pick it up quick because I've been in DCI. I understand, where the formations and where I need to be.
Yeah, the learning curve is definitely much easier for them, to pick up on some of those things. But as long as they're embracing the system that's in place in the high school and being respectful of the directors and, everything that happens in that program, then we've done our job as promoting good music education. I think that's sound leadership from those kids. So that's what we want to have.
See, that's what I love about the Crossmen. They're so humble and so grounded, and how things work. Because when I was a junior snare drummer, and our senior snare was a DCI guy. I think he was with Blue Devils or Regiment. I was a Regiment. He came back and he was like, just, go polish my snare. And I'm going, hey, you can polish your snare. We're the same, And he, no, I'm DCI. That kind of attitude. So I was like, oh, well, I want to be DCI. But
I think we've set up a great model for our student leaders, along with our drum majors and stuff like that, to make sure when the kids go back, they know what their role is in the organization that they go back to. And I think it's been great these past couple of years with our leadership team and Kara, who's Contempo leadership, who kind of works with our drum majors. And I think we're on the right track is making sure our organization and the organizations that kind of feed us just keep getting bigger and better.
Yeah, because obviously folks here in San Antonio, and I know Gary over here in Texarkana, it's all about the students and the student musicians, and we look forward to a great year. We're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to probably like 2 minutes, and we're going to come back and close it out because this is the Crossman Hour, otherwise known as the Bone Show, and we hope everybody's had a great time. We'll be right back in about 2 minutes.
Christmas music.
I can't hit that note.
It's 1977.
77.
Yeah, first time I believe we played Russian Christmas music.
Wow,
One of the first times.
I'm going to test my trivia. I don't know. I'm not sure. Off the top of my head.
77, I was... Never mind.
I was -1.
I was surfing in Hawaii when I was 77. Just learned to surf. All that fun stuff. Yeah, 10 years old. Loved it. So what's the trivia question for the week?
Well,
We don't really have a trivia question, but we have a little sneak hint coming up.
Dun, dun, dun.
I will say we did drop a hint while playing those certain tunes about In and Out. We did drop a hint with one of them.
Did you?
Yes.
What was the hint?
I'll say that one of those.
I love this.
I'm only going to say one.
Hold on. Folks, if you're listening, and I know you're going to be listening to the tape version and everything, they are literally sitting here thinking in the air. Their eyes are up in the sky going, here's what we're going to say. Okay, go ahead.
I will say that one of those songs that we have played, or one of those performances that you just heard through the course of the show at our breaks, one of the tunes in that might make an appearance in the 2014 production. That's what I got.
All right,
so now you got to go back through and you got to go straight.
Listen to the whole thing.
No.
Can I play?
Nope. You cannot play. Cannot play, Mark.
That's not fair. Yeah. That was not fair. Because obviously, and I'll just put it out there, obviously Russian is always getting played.
Not in the show.
Not in the show.
Sometimes it is in the show.
Sometimes it is in the show.
However,
it has made an appearance.
Yeah. It makes an appearance sometime during the season.
Yes.
Huh. So folks right now are like, oh, rewind. Let me listen to this.
Bones Hour is going to have the most replays of all time.
I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy. So, of course, folks, go to crossmen.org for more information. Follow them on Twitter at Crossmen. Get your MMX tickets. They're on sale right now. Go to crossmen.org. June 13th. Register for the run. For $20, you do the run. You don't even have to show up for the run. Just $20 get you your ticket to the MMX, plus T-shirt, plus food, plus goodies, all kinds of stuff. And you can't do any more better. It's only a mile. You can walk a mile, Rico.
I ran more than a mile on the treadmill yesterday. So
I've been running miles.
Treadmills don't count.
You know what? For me, they do.
Treadmills don't count. Because the belt's going and you're just moving like a little hamster.
Okay, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
Why do you always have to deflate my balloon?
Because I was running on a treadmill the other day, too. So it was too windy outside. I don't want to go fight with the wind. But again, folks, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Again, crossmen.org for more information. Get your drumline battle ready because you can also just form your drumline. What's the minimum members for a drumline battle?
6 is the minimum.
6 is the minimum. All information, of course, is on crossmen.org. Get 6 of your friends together. Get drumline pads. Drum practice pads. You don't actually have the snares out there. You can have
trash cans.
Yeah, we're looking for anything and everything that's innovative. Just kind of
Very
search
good.
what's out there. Something similar to Stomp. Anything you can think of.
Yep. And this week, we dropped our very first hint about our show. Stay tuned this week. We might have some teasers coming up.
I said you might get an Easter
show
egg
announcement on the horizon.
on Easter somewhere.
Yep, on Sunday. Check the website.
I didn't say where. I just said the internet.
You're so wrong. Crossmen.org, what closing music are you going to be playing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's go back.
Come on,
to
DJ Rico.
2000. Did we play 2012 this time?
I think the earliest we played were...
All right, let's play 12.
All right, folks. Crossmen.org for all your DCI, Crossman needs, drumline battles. Go to crossmen.org. And, of course, follow them on Twitter at Crossman. Get your drumline battle ready because the winner, when I win against Joel's team, you get to battle me in the drumline battle.
Okay.
He's like, okay. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. God bless. Take care. Have a great year when all else is gone.
Sure, do it.